Hey guys, I want to introduce a man that needs no introduction, Sheriff Wayne Ivey.
No. Thank you, brother. Good to see everybody today. You guys doing well? So, you know, the last time I talked to this group, I left and I thought, man, what an outstanding group. Their character, their class, everything is just above anything else I've ever seen. I come here today and there's Eric Lamar over there at the table. So, you know, I guess you guys had to let him in, but exactly. So, well, I'm going to start where I always do, and that is to say once again, thank you for allowing me to serve as your sheriff. I love this job. This is the funnest thing I've ever done in my life. One of the things that makes this job so great is I'm surrounded by an amazing team of men and women that are out there knocking it out of the park to keep you safe. So you see one of them out there, you let them know how much you appreciate what they're doing, because they work hard every day to protect this community. I'm so proud of them. We're proud of you guys too, because you guys take care of us. We're blessed, man. We got a community that stands right beside us, stands behind us, stands in front of us. If somebody's saying something about us, it's, believe it or not, it has become a recruiting tool for us, as law enforcement officers across the country are watching how this community embraces us, how much they love us, and they're coming here to work. We're hiring people from all the way New York, NYPD, people that are leaving NYPD to come to us all across the country. Illinois, I've got a guy that starts next week that left his job up there after 15 years and is coming here from New Jersey. So they are coming. One of the things that we do, though, is on the polygraph, when we hire them, we ask them how they're going to vote, because that's really important. We don't want to mess up and bring the wrong fundamentals in here. So, but no, we're blessed. We do. We thank you for our community, and a shout out to Chris and his team, because they're big partners with us in this community. They do a lot for us, and he donates a lot of stuff to charity. So if you guys will, please give him a big round of applause too. So let's talk about our crime rate real quick, and then we'll jump into some of the other things that have been happening. So first and foremost, our crime rate in the past 9.5 years has dropped 51%. That's almost unheard of. When you look at the fact that our community is growing in leaps and bounds. Just right here in the area where we're at, they're building 50,000 homes in the next 5 years. But even without that, our community is doing this. It's growing, it's growing. People are coming here because they want to live in a safe community. They want to live in a community that has good education opportunities, good employment opportunities, recreational opportunities, and quite frankly, that takes care of pets like we do here in this community. So all of those things, the perfect recipe for success is driving our population up. But somehow, through our partnership with you, through our aggressive nature, through our state attorney, our crime rate is doing this. 51% departure in the past 9.5 years. We had fewer victims of crime last year than any time in the past 44 years. So think about that. You go back 44 years ago, our population was much less, but our crime rate was much higher. And what that tells me is the efforts that we're putting forward are working. The things that we're doing, the aggressive nature. You know, every time, for those of you at the tables that know Doug Waller, our undersheriff, every time Doug Waller hears me say, we're the most aggressive agency in the country, he cringes. He literally goes, oh my God, somebody's going to sue us. Sue me, I don't care. My job is to protect you. My job, in fact, government's one and only responsibility is to protect its citizens. And we're going to do that through aggressive law enforcement. We're the most professional agency in the country. We follow our policies, we follow the law, we follow the Constitution. But at the end of the day, those that are breaking the law are going to jail. And I make no apologies for it. So as I told somebody one time, I said, if you spit on our sidewalks, you're going to jail. And they say, oh, well, you know, some things don't need, no. That's what happens. If you look at these areas where crime is through the roof, they've turned a blind eye to certain crimes. And crime will rise to the level the community will tolerate. It absolutely will. If we tolerate this crime, the next crime will rise. If we tolerate that, the next one. So we have zero tolerance here for crime. We are going to continue that. And our citizens love it. We put bad people in jail, and we don't apologize for it. That's what I mean by we're the most aggressive agency in the country. I believe that if you look at what's happening with our statistics, not only is our population going up and our crime rates going down, but our jail population, when I first became sheriff 9.5 years ago, our jail population was around 92, 93%. Today it's at 83%. So what we're doing in between those two of being aggressive and people getting out of jail is we're instituting programs that are helping with the rehabilitation process. Programs like the chain gang. If you look at the recidivism rate for male inmates in Brevard County, it's 43%. So 43 out of every 100 are coming back to jail, unless they've been on the chain gang, and then it's 2%. So significant difference. Paws and Stripes, our program where we train comfort dogs to help us interview children that have been victims of crime. The women that we use in that, the recidivism rate for females is 34%, unless they've been in the Paws and Stripes program, and then it's 1%. So we know these programs are working. We also partnered with ABC Home Builders in talking to them, and most of you will probably echo this in your own lives, but the hardest thing for our contractors right now is getting employees, getting people to come to work, going on the job sites. I was at a presentation they were doing, they were talking about it, and I said, man, you know, what do you need? How can I help in that? And one of the challenges for them is, if I want to go work on a construction site, when I walk up to apply, the first thing they're going to ask me is, do I have OSHA 10 training, which is the safety training? I'm going to say no. They're going to say, well, here's where you can go get it. The chances are when I leave that job site, especially if I've been in trouble before, I'm not coming back. All right, I went there trying to get a job, now you turn me away and I'm not coming back. So I sent one of my team to school to become a certified teacher in OSHA 10 training, and now I provide that training to the inmates. If they want the training, we provide it. We have a waiting list of those waiting to get in it. When they get out, we give them a list of resources, jobs, that they can go get right then and there and go to work. We're trying to get them back involved in positive things in the community so that they're able to. Our faith-based ministry in the jail is one of our key components of getting that rehabilitation process going, getting them back into the godly life, living their lives as they should, and giving them some resources that can help keep them on the straight and narrow. Our jail ministry team does phenomenal work. We work with them each and every day to make sure that we have the right resources. When we put all of those together, the totality of all of it is a crime rate that's gone down 51%. So we're going to continue that path. I'm not going to apologize for putting bad people in jail. We have a new program that we do. Some of you may have seen it on Facebook. We record it and put it up. It's called Hit the Streets. And I take about 30 of our most aggressive team members out, and we go out and we go, anybody that's breaking the law, they're taking the ride. And I'll tell you, the best way I can describe it, it's like having 30 German Shepherds on leashes, and then the leash breaks, and I'm trying to get them all back. So thankfully we got a great sergeant that keeps control on the team, but we're out, and every night, and this will kind of segue into my next thing I'm going to talk about. Every single night we go out, we film now, what, 21 episodes, I think, Debbie? I think, yeah, 21 different episodes. There's yet to be an episode that we did not seize fentanyl off our streets. Every single episode. Opiates, heroin, meth, illegal guns, guns that are stolen, everything else we've taken off in every one of these single episodes. The other thing that we're seeing is repeat offenders. We arrest them, we put them in jail, they get a low bond from a judge, and then they get back out on our streets and we're arresting them again and again and again. And that's why I've started pushing so hard on these judicial races to get the people in there that I believe are going to help me protect this community. And I expect our judges to be fair. I expect them to care about all rights, the rights of the criminals, and especially the rights of the victims. We cannot overlook the rights of the victims in our bid to be fair. So I want fair judges, but I want firm judges. And that's why I've started getting involved in those. So we're going to continue that course. The fentanyl epidemic, the opioid epidemic, is the worst I've ever seen in my life. You know, I've been a cop for 42, almost 43 years now. And I will tell you that, you know, through the years you see the different wars on drugs, you know, whether it was back in the 70s and early 80s when we were going after those that were doing indoor marijuana grows, as it transitioned into cocaine, crack cocaine. I remember in crack cocaine, I would tell citizens, I would tell others, this is the worst thing we've ever seen. This is impacting lives like we've never seen before. Sadly, I was wrong. It was the worst thing we'd seen till then. Right now, the worst thing we've ever seen is the opioid epidemic. and it is taking lives like nothing else we've ever seen. Fentanyl overdoses, laced with fentanyl. To give you a snapshot, in one 24-month period, Brevard County had 172 overdose deaths, just here in our community. What's different is when you look at some of the other wars that we've done, or however you want to frame that, the people that were using the drugs were longtime drug users. They were people that had been doing it forever. What we're seeing now is the kid next door that breaks his leg in a motorcycle wreck and starts taking painkillers and now is addicted to it, and the next thing you know is doing burglaries to support their habit. I guess the best way I can capture, to put it into perspective of how bad it is, I can take you right now to 3 moms that have called me on the phone and told me that they have now slept for the first night of their lives safe and sound because their child's in jail. Put that into perspective. A mom can sleep soundly at night because her son or daughter is in my jail, and they can't sleep at night when they're out free because they know that they're subject to overdose, they're subject to somebody killing them, all of those things. So when a mom's fears are calmed by their child going to jail, it puts into perspective how bad it is. And I will tell you that our federal government needs to get focused on finding a solution for this. And I testified back in 2019, we had seized 3 pounds of fentanyl right here in Brevard County. We took off 100 individuals that were dealing fentanyl and opiates, arrested them all at the same time. Some of you may remember it, the governor and the attorney general came here for the press conference. 3 days later, I got a call from Representative Jim Jordan asking me to come testify before Congress. So I went up there, I hydrated real well before I went. Listen, I couldn't risk drinking the water up there because I believe that's how they're doing it. I believe that's how they're getting them. So I took bottled water with me. I just couldn't, couldn't chance it. But I testified before Congress. And some things happened before I went in to testify. One of the things was I got to meet 5 different families that were there to testify also. They were from all different walks of life, all different socioeconomic statuses. Those 5 families had 2 things in common. Each one of them had lost a child to opioids, and each one of them had expended and spent every resource they had to try and save their child. There's no silver bullet for it. There are places that will say, listen, send your child here or send your mom here, whoever it is, and give us $80,000, and when they get out, they'll be good as new. No, they won't. And that's tragic and it's sad. But there's not a silver bullet for this. One of the families was a police officer from New Jersey. His 22-year-old daughter had got addicted. They did everything. She got arrested, everything else. They sent her away, got her some help. He retired, cashed in his retirement to pay for it. When she got back, he sat as a babysitter over her to keep her from leaving the house and everything else. One afternoon he took a nap. She snuck out of the house. And I mean, when I say he was babysitting, they had literally put alarms on the doors and everything else so that if the doors open, he would know. She went out through a bedroom window, went back to her same ways, took the dosage that she was used to taking before she went into the rehabilitation, which is common. Whatever their dose is, they're used to taking it because their body's built a tolerance. When they go to rehab, the body cleans out. Now they go back, they take that normal dose, and it's more than their body can handle. His daughter died. 5 families, all different walks of life. This is an epidemic that's impacting every corner of America. And so I made some strong recommendations to our congressional members. I'm proud to tell you that they did not disappoint me. They did exactly what I thought they would do, not a single thing. And we're still dealing with this now. How dangerous is it? How toxic is it? That 3 pounds that I told you we seized in May of 2019, if I took it and put it into a lethal dose, it was enough to kill all 600,000 people in Brevard County. 3 pounds. I just, right before I came in here, saw a news release where the Attorney General just announced that Florida law enforcement officers have seized enough fentanyl from the different agencies making their seizures to kill every citizen in the state of Florida. Now that's the dangers of it. That's how bad it is. How did we get here? Well, one of the things you have to look at is how's opiates being prescribed? How accessible are they? What's coming across our border? A lot of people ask me, you know, you're in Florida, we're not a border state. Why are you so focused on immigration? Illegal immigration does not stop at the border. It filters into every community in this country. Whether it's filtering in through the increase of drugs that are coming across the border, the increase of human trafficking that is taking place at the border, whether it filters in from the drain of resources that is being taken from our community to go combat what's at the border, illegal immigration filters into every community. And to say we're not a border state, well, that just makes no sense to me. Because if I just take human trafficking, for example, and I look at what are the 3 key elements of human trafficking, which, by the way, is the 3rd most lucrative crime in the world today. What are the elements? If I human traffic somebody, how do I make my money? Because that's really what it's all about. Greed. It's modern day slavery is what human trafficking is. How do I make my money? So I make it by one of 3 ways. 1, I put those people that we have captured and put into the trafficking business, I put them to work in the agriculture industry. Does Florida have agriculture industry? Yeah. Let's take it even closer to home. Does Brevard County have agriculture industry? Absolutely. Most people wouldn't know it, but it's one of our largest industries. So that's one way, forced labor. The second way is forced labor in the hospitality industry. I won't waste your time asking you if Florida has a hospitality industry. We have the 2nd busiest passenger cruise port in the country. We have nail salons, we have massage parlors, we have hotels. All of those things fit into that hospitality. So there's number 2. Number 3 is forced sex. And I don't care where you are, that industry is a lucrative industry. Whether you're here in Brevard, in Orlando, or in Fargo, North Dakota, that industry makes money. So that's how it's happening. And we've seen massive increases in victimization of human trafficking. So we have to secure our border. The other recommendation I made to Congress was this. It's not just about securing our border. It's about creating a clear and well-defined path for citizenship for those that want to come here the right way. We are a nation that was built on immigration. So we need to, if it's taken Chris right now 5, 7, 10 years to get his citizenship and to get into our country the right way, what's his motivation not to do it the wrong way? And so we need to create a clear and well-defined path, make it easier for those that we want to have in our country that are going to make our country even greater than it already is. We need to clear that. And I think if we hit both of those, we fix that problem. And then we get to the next problem, which is, unfortunately, and it's like any other profession in the world, I don't care what profession you're in, there will be a very small, minute percentage that will mess it up for everybody. And there's that percentage of doctors that are overprescribing, making it too accessible, and that. 99.9% of our doctors do it right, care about their patients, want compassionate care for their patients. Sadly, because of trying to crack down on the bad ones, they're actually restricting the good ones in how they can do things as well. So it's hitting us from both angles on that. So the opioid epidemic is real, and I think we have to start facing that and trying to fix it. It's not about the hardened criminal anymore. Granted, they're doing it, but it's also about that kid next door that broke his leg in a motorcycle wreck, or the senior that had hip surgery and is now addicted to it. So we have to get really strong focused on that. And then, you know, as we look further about where we're at as far as our crime, as we look further about what can we do as citizens, it really comes down to this. It comes down to being aware of the different crimes that are taking place. If you have the knowledge of what kind of crimes we're combating out there, then you become the first line of defense for you and your family. You know, we're seeing active shootings that are taking place all across the country. Just had another school shooting. We here in Brevard County, big percentage of our population is carrying. So I had somebody send me an email one time and said, Sheriff, you ought to create a group that if you ever need us, we come out and we respond to your help. I responded back, I have. It's called Brevard County. Because our citizens, I tell everybody, if you're a good citizen, you don't have a gun, we issue you one when you get into Brevard County. We want you to have a gun. We want you to protect yourself. But we also offer classes to make sure you know how to protect yourself and you know how to protect those around you if you have to. So we're doing all those things. And the last thing I'll talk about before I open the floor for any question you guys want to ask me is our new school uniform change. How many of you have seen that? Anybody seen it yet? So we're in the transition phase, but I changed our school resource deputy uniforms. I look at what's happening. You can go back to Parkland. You can go to Uvalde. You can go to any of these school shootings. And the thing that I have to look at is, how do I protect my students, my teachers, the visitors, the bus drivers, all of those across the board. And so since Parkland, we had fortified a lot of our schools. And protecting students and protecting teachers is not just one thing. It's not about just putting a fence up around the school. It's not about just putting technology in the school. It's all of those strategies working together. And as I like to tell people, trying to protect a school is much like a bulletproof vest. If you know anything about bulletproof vests, it's layer after layer after layer of material that when woven together becomes so strong, a bullet won't go through it. Well, we can't just have one layer on our schools. We can't just have two. We have to have layer after layer after layer. Now, there's no question, those layers and that vest becomes bulky. In fact, that's what makes me look kind of chubby right through here. So, Chris, why are you laughing, man?
Said you look good when you got here.
All right, I'm not wearing a vest, but if I was, it'd make me look chubby right through here. So, but here's the reality. One layer won't do it. 2 layers won't do it. 3 layers won't do it. And if layer 1 doesn't do it and layer 2 fails, I need 3, 4, 5, and 6 to be ready. And so I started looking at, how do I protect my schools? We've put in technology. Right now, because of Mutual Link, if we have an incident, a critical incident that happens in the hospitals, in the schools, in the port, in any of our major areas, airport, any of that, we can all interconnect radios and visual optics. So the cameras that are in our school, if we had a critical incident right now that happened at Merritt Island High School, my team can pipe me in on this phone on those cameras. I can see what's going on. My SWAT team, as they're responding, can see everything. All of it's interconnected, and our radio communication. If you Monday morning quarterback any critical incident, the #1 thing that people will say was communication was the failure. So we're trying to fix all that. Fencing. We put fencing up at all of our schools. We created single entry access points at all of our schools. The problem with fencing is fencing serves 2 purposes. It keeps people out and it keeps people in. So if we have a critical incident, we have to be able to get those students out of there just as quickly. So you have to look forward in your thinking on those. We've created vestibules where you can't just walk into the school anymore in a lot of them and have open access to it. We've tried to shut all of that down. As we saw in Uvalde, even when you have doors that automatically secure, you can still have a failure, a system failure, or a human failure. And so, again, we need layer 3 to pick up now in layer 4. But as I really started looking at it, I went back to a book I read a long time ago, and some of you in here have probably read this book and probably ought to read it again. But the book is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And in The Art of War, Sun Tzu says, every battle is won or lost before it's ever fought. So how do I win this battle? I win it by keeping a shooter from ever wanting to come on our campus. I win it by keeping a shooter from ever being able to get on our campus. If they get on the campus and they fire a single round, I've lost. If I lose 1 child, I've lost. 1 teacher, I've lost. So we started thinking about, how do we keep them from ever getting on that campus? It comes down to being a hard target. It's not just about fencing. It's not just about technology. It's not just about single access. It's about making the person with evil in their heart know that if they step on my campus, they are going to be killed cold dead. So I changed my uniforms. I've gone to a completely different uniform on our school resource deputies. As they stand right now, they look like me. Same equipment I have on. Maybe they have a taser and radio, but same equipment. As you will see them after the Christmas holidays, because I've got to transition in, they will be wearing tactical clothes, 511 pants, 511 shirt. They'll have an outer vest, a load-bearing vest as we call it. All of their equipment, with the exception of their gun, will shift from here to here. And right here, in the middle of it, is a Kel-Tec AR that's going to be strapped to the front of them. It's a collapsible AR. It's got a folding stock. It's made right here in Brevard County by Kel-Tec. It is the game changer. And I had somebody say, Sheriff, our schools are going to look like the airports in Israel. I had a quick response. When's the last time you heard about the airport in Israel being shot up? You haven't. Because what Sun Tzu actually meant is to win the battle before it's ever fought is this. You have to out-prepare, out-think, out-strategize, out-resource your opponent. And that's what I want to do. If we went right now to one of my schools and somebody walked on that campus with an AR, which has become customary, that's how they're coming on the campuses, is with long guns, whether they're an AR or a rifle of any caliber, 30-06, what we're defending those schools with right now is this. They walk on the campus with an AR and my team needs to combat that battle. We have to run to our car, get our AR out of the locking mechanism in the car, run back on the campus, find the threat, and attempt to neutralize or eliminate it. With this new uniform, that AR is right here. And I get it. There are some parents that are going, well, how's my kid going to respond to that? And my answer is this. Between what we're talking to them about as a school resource deputy, our school resource deputies build relationships with these children, between what parents are talking to their kids about and what teachers are talking to their kids about, 2 weeks after we step on that campus with that new uniform, it will be yesterday's news. Those kids won't even think about it. Just like you and I, when we went to school, we were taught how to deal with a nuclear explosion. Yeah, get under the desk. Which, by the way, I'm just going to say this, I think Fauci came up with that plan. I'm not positive. Just throwing that out. So, but the reality is, kids are resilient. And if we talk to them and explain to them that that deputy is there to protect them, that's the game changer. And so I can't have my deputy having to run to their car. Some of the schools have a safe in the office. Even if they have to run to the office, there's a child dead in that interim, probably 5 to 6 children. So we're going to load up. We've got other agencies across the country now that are already calling us. We had a piece of equipment specifically made, it's called a MOLLE attachment, that goes on our vest that holds the gun secure. Takes several actions, and the way I best describe it is my gun. I can't pull my gun out until I do this. That's 1, that's 2, and it still won't come out. I have to hit a 3rd switch to get my gun out. Well, we put those same type of safety features on this so that if one of our deputies has to engage in a fight or something, you can't pull it off. It's got a shoulder sling on it. They're loaded. They are going. When I first rolled it out, I was going with the subcompact 2000 that Kel-Tec makes, which actually folds in half. If you haven't seen it, it's a rifle about this long, but it folds in half, and it fits very nicely in here. Kel-Tec thought they could convert the magazine on it to take the Walther magazine, because we carry Walthers. Right now, that rifle takes Glocks. So they worked with it. I was going to go with that because that was nice. I could have the same mags all around. They couldn't do it, so I would have to have, if I stayed with the subcompact, I'd have to have 2 different sets of magazines, and my deputies will get confused in the heat of the battle. So the AR is a completely different magazine. They won't get confused in that. So we're going to that. I can tell you, when I rolled it out on Facebook, I told our team, get ready. We are going to get hate emails and everything else like you've never imagined. Nothing. What I got was the exact opposite. I got moms, thousands of them, that were telling me, thank you for protecting my child. I got teachers saying, thank you for protecting our campuses. I got parents of teachers saying, thank you for protecting my daughter who's a teacher at such and such school. So it's just the difference. Moms want their children to be safe. Does everybody like it? No. But I have to be able to look myself in the mirror and say, I did everything I could to protect our schools. This is a deterrent, folks. These people with evil in their heart, they're going to think twice about coming on our campus. And if they do, if they still, system 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 fails, system 6 will give us the ability to immediately address the threat. And that's what I have to be able to do there. So that's our new uniform. You'll see it rolling out. The school resource deputies love it. I field tested it myself. I don't ask them to do anything that I can't do. A lot of them can do a lot more than I can do, obviously, but I still think in my head I can do it. So I wore it on my vest, right on the front. I drove with it on. You know, I tested it to see if I could eat with it on, because I can. And now that all of you have finished your meal, for the majority of you, I will tell you, I even went to the bathroom with it on. So I wanted to make sure of the durability of it. And Kel-Tec has worked with me great to get us there. The Molly attachment we had built came out of Minnesota. They worked with us great to get it. We would have already been there. Our biggest problem was supply chain. I couldn't get the outer vests. I couldn't get them to us in time. So we've got them now. We're rolling that out, and we're rocking and rolling with it. So what can I answer for you guys? You guys can ask me anything you want.